Hi everybody, this is Sandy Shellis and I am here on this Labor Day to have a couple of things I want to say about Irma and about the new NASA head. How are you guys? I certainly hope that everybody's rested, because it looks to me like the coming week is going to be pretty hairy coming, up. Governor Scott of Florida just made Irma into a state of emergency ahead of time, and it's a little bit scary for me. I have friends in Florida. Environmental Coffee House's Jupiter Judy Bohm, who does a lot for us, is in harm's way, and of course we're all worried about everybody we know there because of the propensity for the storms now to sit, and like we saw with Harvey. So we must keep our eyes on Irma for everybody that we know down there. In the meantime, I can turn into anything on I have my iPad, and I see Irma becomes a category 4. Irma now a cat 4. I mean everything. Miami Herald, Fox News, NBC 2 saying state of emergency, hurricane updates from the Daily Express in the UK. People are actually talking about this, and I don't know if it's going to make anybody say in our government that climate change is real and that these storms are going to be worse because of climate change. I was at our little camp this weekend, and we do have TV there, and that's it really, mostly. Well, I did watch TV, and I don't usually on Sunday mornings, and I watched the NPR some NPR roundtable, and I don't know exactly who's in it, the names of who was in it, but they were talking about climate change and whether or not this may change anybody's mind in the administration. So it was encouraging to at least see the conversation happening, even though it wasn't on mainstream media. And it is worrying me, I've been away from news for a couple of days, which is very hard. It is. I mean, I just, running Environmental Coffee House, I have a great team though, helps me when I'm gone. Everybody's wonderful, but when I'm away, I feel like I'm out of sorts. I don't know, it's kind of a new thing, for me to be this way. Be a bit anxiety ridden, especially over these storms that are happening where people I know and love are, and all of us know and love are. So it's bared down on the Caribbean. 2 hours ago, the Daily Express in the UK talked about Irma bearing down on the Caribbean, a string of Caribbean islands, and I'm going to look for Paul Beckwth's next video to tell us about the exact weather and patterns and jet stream and how that's going to be. Paul will definitely do a good job. And excuse me, I'm just trying to get this thing to sit straight. Thank you. I'm way out in the back of my house, so it's kind of weird, I'm trying to get this going and sitting, and okay. So they're saying that the Irma models the latest forecast and tracking, fresh update. It reads, Irma is moving towards the west-southwest near 14 miles an hour. A turn towards the west is expected later today, followed by a west-northwest turn late Tuesday. On the forecast track, the center of Irma will move near or over portions of the northern Leeward Islands Tuesday night and early Wednesday. And the winds are already 120 miles an hour, and so, I hope that it is not going to be the same scenario. And Daniel Lindbergh is making a comment that climate change isn't real. The hurricanes are actually man-made. See geoengineering weather modification. Well, I beg to differ, Daniel. I'm so sorry. But hurricanes are natural occurrences, and climate change and the atmospheric things and the CO2 and all of those things in the air and the jet stream are what causes the more severe hurricanes. And I'm sorry, I can't sit and say right now, because I'm not an expert on geoengineering, I cannot attribute it to that. I can attribute it to what I know as science and what weather forecasters say, and what the scientists have talked about as climate change related behavior of these storms now. And that's it's disconcerting, and it's disconcerting to me. I'm sorry to have to, this is it. I don't know enough about what you're saying with the climate engineering. I don't think anybody's engineering hurricanes to cause millions of dollars of damage. I don't think hurricanes are being engineered and made worse to cause a population shrinkage. I personally don't. I think that's a little bit over the top for me, okay? For me. And maybe for Environmental Coffee House. So I'm not going to play weather person, because the next thing I want to segue to is President Trump's pick for the next leader of NASA. And I read a bit about this, and the first thing that struck me was that he is from Oklahoma. And Oklahoma is the home of earthquakes and fracking and a lot of things. And the first thing that I thought of with this guy, this congressman, is that he's looking to mine the moon. Honest to God, he's going to look to mine the moon. His name is Jim Bridenstine of Oklahoma. Of course, he would have to be confirmed and before taking charge. And the two senators who represent Florida's Space Coast have already publicly objected to the choice of a politician as the head of a space agency. I feel the same way. I do. I think it's crazy. He is a climate denier, an avowed climate denier. He has spoken out against space junk, calling the problem of orbital debris absolutely huge. It's a problem that cannot be ignored any longer. He's a big fan of the moon, and recently told NASA's Lunar Exploration Analysis Group in Washington, D.C., that the discovery of water ice on the moon should have resulted in a permanent outpost there for rovers and machines to exploit the lunar materials and drive down costs of space exploration. So he's way before us. He wants to mine the moon. That's what it looks like to me. He says, I would say that the climate is changing. It has always changed. He's one of those. There were periods of time long before the internal combustion engine where the Earth was much warmer than it is today. He told Aerospace America in a 2016 interview. Okay? Such views are sure to alarm scientists because NASA conducts such a huge amount of global research on climate change. We cannot afford this. We can't afford some crazy dreamer from Oklahoma who doesn't have the background. We really can't. But can we afford any of the picks in this administration? He said, he's a guy that comes from Oklahoma, and I have absolutely no problem studying the climate. That's what these assets do. They study the climate. There's nothing wrong with it. Asked if there was any data that would change his view that fossil fuels weren't warming the planet. And he says the United States does not have a big enough carbon footprint to make a difference when you've got all these other polluters out there. So why do we fundamentally want to damage our economy even more when nobody else is doing the same thing? So he's toting that line of bull. That same line of bull that's all about money, that we're getting ripped off and everything else. It's all about greed and it's all about money, and he's no different, and he's going to be a dangerous head of NASA. He says he accused President Obama of spending 30 times as much money on global warming research than weather forecasting. Okay, to me, global warming, climate change, all of this, and weather forecasting go hand in hand. What the hell is he talking about? Just what is this guy talking about? He says, for this gross misallocation, the people of Oklahoma are ready to accept the president's apology. He said in a speech on the House floor, asserting that global temperature changes correlate with sun output and ocean cycles, a line of argument used by those who question mainstream climate change science. And guys, I just don't know how much more I can take of all this shit. Or you can. This guy is clearly not somebody qualified. He is seen as a proponent of commercial space companies and has said that the government understands that in the future and even today, it will be a customer of routine space services, not a provider of routine space services. So he's a privatization guy too. And he also, in another one I read, is for all of that drilling on national monuments, and he's pushed that measures that would allow commercial companies to gather and sell weather forecasting data that would integrate with U.S. weather forecasting models. But does this guy, I mean, where's his education from in science? He doesn't have one. He doesn't have one. So that's a story that's going to unfold. That's a story that'll unfold. I had something on my personal page, which I'm going to read to you because I did a quote from another article, and I'm not sure I can find it exactly, but this is the quote, and I'm going to read it to you. Burdenstein has expressed skepticism about climate change. In a June 2013 speech on the House floor, he disparaged the role of humans in global warming and criticized Barack Obama for spending more money on climate research than on weather forecasting. That same thing again, right? Burdenstein has argued to exclude greenhouse gases from federal regulation and to expand oil and gas exploration on federal lands and offshore. More of the same, okay? We're going to get more of the same. More ignorance and more stupidity. And it's just going to, it's blowing my mind. So I'm reaching out to you, Paul Beckwth. Can you please study this guy? Can you please help us understand what the ramifications of this guy being the head of NASA will be, okay? And yes, Darlene, he has to be voted in. But Jeff Sessions wasn't stopped. Tillerson wasn't stopped. And I went on the March for Science page today, and I did pose a question about them being there's a lot of people on that page, if there are appropriate people that can be pointed out to run NASA. And if they have those appropriate people to make the movement and to start writing Congress with the names of the appropriate people that know how to run NASA, that know how important those satellites are in space to us in our climate change analysis, that know how important it is to have accurate data on the Arctic, that only, well, the NOAA and NASA, they all have to work together. And I'm not a scientist. And I'm asking you, Torstein Viddal, please, look into this also. You were in Greenland. You're from Norway. You're in Arctic Ice. You run the Arctic Ice page. I think we need your help too. And we need to identify somebody. This is a critical role for the world, And if I sound upset today, I am. Because I am worried about my friends. And I don't want to see what's going to happen. And I just can't stand it. Judy just joined. Hi, Judy. She says, hey, kids. Judy, we've all got our heart with you and everybody else. And Kia, who's in Orlando, I don't know how it works there, but our hearts and from Environmental Coffee House are with everybody. And again, if I can get some donating efforts up to try to find a... I prefer to donate to the rescues and the animal sanctuaries because, especially in Florida, there's a lot of marine sanctuaries, and there are a lot of they have a lot of aquatic life, and a devastating hurricane could really hurt them. People will get their aid, and I don't say that we don't want to help people at all. Okay, Kia should be fine. Good. Thank you, Judy. but you are who I'm worried about. But I'm not saying, I want people to at least scrape up whatever you can to donate to whatever you can that's going to help. And if this Rick Scott does experience a climactic hurricane, and if they don't start opening their eyes to the fact that natural weather events like hurricanes are being made worse because of the jet stream that's being messed up by the waters and the warmth and the sea level and all of those other things, we're in trouble. We really are in trouble. And I don't know how we're going to get out of it without some kind of climate change revolution, guys. You know, like I said the other day, these deniers are killers. They really are. And I'm coming on here after having been away for the weekend, wanting to make my point that, Judy says, Big Dog Ranch Rescue in Lockahachie, Florida is a great one. Just took in 20 dogs from Texas. Right on. Okay, see, we're going to get some names, and I'll get behind somebody. And I got behind one, Tall Tales. They appreciated it, and I didn't like the article that some sheriff in another state wrote and said the guy was just interested in donations in his PayPal. Well, when you run a rescue, you need the money. Nobody goes into a pet rescue thinking they're going to get rich. They go in because they love animals. And if I had the back and I had the stamina, I would do it. I already have 5 rescue cats. So, honest to God, that's where my heart and my head is at. I would like to, I'm extending my hand out to all of them. Sam Carana, Robert Scribbler, and Paul Beckwth, and Torstein Viddal, to please look at what's going to happen here and give us updates, real updates on what's happening in Southeast Asia as far as climate change causing floods and all of those things. I talk to my peers. My peers are not scientists. My peers are men and women like myself who may have worked in, various careers. I was lucky because I was HR director over a research function at a state university, and I did work with researchers, so I was very lucky. And hello, Cliff, and hello, Steve, and I'm saying hi to all these people. Of course, on YouTube, when I put the video up, YouTube doesn't see all of you. But it is really important now. Of course, Paul may have done another video. I just got home. I just started reading the stuff, and I thought I needed to come on. And thank you, Judy, for putting the address. I'll have to transfer that to YouTube as well, so that YouTube people that follow Environmental Coffee House might want to find a rescue for themselves, because the animals are always the ones that suffer. And I heard some horrible stories about what happened in Houston, and I can't even repeat them. I can't repeat them because my heart will break and I'll start crying because I'm already upset. I'm upset because I'm worried again. We're all worried. I guess just having a tornado here was nothing. And I'm not going to do this. I see Judy, I worry. I'm just that kind of person. My heart is like, it's too big for my body. So, again, I'm asking help with who this guy is, that they want to run NASA. Help us figure it out. All of us lay people that aren't scientists. And I'm not a religious person, but say your prayers for Florida and send them the best karma, okay? And share this out. I typically, I don't cry on videos, but I'm worried. And I'm tired of the climate deniers. They're really they're ruining everything. They're making it so much worse. And like my buddy Hambone says, instead of hitting the wall at 67,000 miles an hour, this administration and all the deniers are going to make us hit the wall at 77,000 miles an hour. So I'm giving a shout out to him too, wherever he is out in Washington State, Bigfoot hunting. All right, guys. Thank you for joining, and I don't know if anybody has questions. Australia stands strong with Standing Rock. Minnie Wicconi, absolutely, absolutely. I hope you watched the Line 5 Enbridge Day that Desmond Berry, that's on our team, is pinned to the top of this. It's been pinned. It was a wonderful day. I actually got to sneak away and find some internet where I was and watch it. And Trucito says climate denial is money making for them. I'm seeing tons of climate denial videos. Good luck. It's really awful. Yeah, Hambone's out there, honey. He's all the way up by British Columbia. Got to watch his videos. He's camping out, and I'm sorry I did that. I just, you know, my girlfriend Judy, I love her. She works with us, and it's getting to me. So I don't have to stay strong. Everybody else has to stay strong. I already went through my tornado. I already went through my shit. I already went through my husband's accident. Now I'm the person that is caring about what's going on outside of my property, outside of, you know, this, because my life is going to be just what it is. My life is cleaning up. I don't usually, you know, my life is cleaning up. There's the wood pile from the trees, and we're going to get it together. And we're not going to have these problems, you know. There's the wood. So I know that there's tornadoes that spun off also, and it is what it is. But it's going to be made worse by these people, and these people are narrow-minded and they're dangerous. And I can't stop saying it. They are dangerous. So for today, thank you for coming. And Trucito says, I survived Sandy myself. I know how insane these get. Well, Judy might do a little live streaming if she can, but I'm letting her off. She's done. She doesn't have to do anything but get ready to save herself, her family, her property, and she knows she can come up here to New York. If she can get out, she's got a place to stay. Because I love my team. Okay. So anyway, guys, have a great day. Thank you for coming on this Labor Day, which is actually all of us in the 99%, the fruits of our labor. The work that we all did. The work with our hands. The work with our, that is my, yep, Salvation Rose. That's what we are. This is our holiday, Labor Day. And let's hope that this isn't environmental, but I'm going to say it, but anyway, DACA. It can't go through. And I'll end with that. Thanks. Peace, everybody. You know I love you. Judy, love you. Peace. Bye.